Huge news in the world of theme parks today. The Walt Disney Company says they are building a new theme park. Not a new land, not a new attraction, but an entire new park. Like, what? Where is this happening? Why is it happening? When is it happening? Let's get into all of it right now. So the Walt Disney Company's quarterly earnings call was today, and it was an early morning earnings call, which I like those because I'm at work early. I like to put them on in the background, companies I'm interested in, listen to what's going on. Maybe we're going to get some news about what's going on in Orlando with the expansion at Magic Kingdom, maybe some California news, some news about the movie business, and all of a sudden I'm at my desk and I get this notification, boom, we are building a brand new theme park. I'm like, what? Wait, what? Is this real? I'm like, is this real? It's actually happening. You're announcing this on a random Wednesday morning in May, and I think I was shocked because normally these things are announced at like a D23 where there are a ton of fans in attendance and there's like a big like hoopla of like an unveiling and like, whoa, there's a whole new theme park coming. This is crazy. Instead, it just kind of dropped right around the time of the earnings call. So let's get into exactly what this is, what we know, what we don't know yet, and maybe why this is happening and all of that good stuff. So right now, we don't know what the theme park will be called. I'm just going to call it Disney Abu Dhabi for now because that's where it's being built. In Abu Dhabi, in the United Arab Emirates, in the Middle East. It's going to be built on Yas Island, Y-A-S Island, and that's home to a few other theme parks at the moment. There are a bunch of theme parks popping up in this region of the world, and by all the reporting that's being done, they're doing very well out there. It's unclear exactly how big this will be. We have this kind of vague concept art, and you always have to be you always have to be skeptical about the early concept art, right? It's very often that the final product of these things don't end up actually looking like the concept art that comes out right away. But it's kind of a sketch here. The other big thing with this, and I think the big news with it, is that they are partnering with Miral. That is Abu Dhabi's leading creator of immersive destinations and experiences. And Disney's Imagineers will be helping with the design. But Miral will be responsible for all of the capital investment, spending all of the money on it, and building the park. So they, in Abu Dhabi, are paying for all of this. Disney is not paying for any of it. Basically, it's like a licensing deal where the Miral people are licensing Disney IP, Disney Imagination to go in there and design the thing, but they're going to build it and they are going to operate it. Fully funded by the people at Miral. The next question is, when is this going to open? We don't know the answer to that either. They did not give a specific timeline of it. There is some reporting. Caroline Reed in Forbes says that the park plans to open by 2030. That's just 5 years from now. That would be very ambitious, I think, because in a CNBC interview this morning, Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, with Josh D'Amaro, who runs the parks division there at Disney, was on. They were on CNBC, and they were asked that question about the timeline. And this is what Bob Iger said about the specific timeline for this project. Take a listen.
Well, we're not pinning down a date yet. It typically takes us between 18 months and 2 years to design and fully develop, and approximately 5 years to build. But we're not making any commitments right now. Obviously, we're all eager to get started. Actually, our Imagineers have already begun the process of design, and we've been in deep discussions with our partners at Miral.
I'll post a link to that full interview in the description below, but you heard him say there's a couple things. One, if his timeline is correct and it's 1.5 to 2 years just to design the thing, and then it's another 5 years to build it, that puts you at like 6.5 to 7 years to get this thing open and running. However, you did hear him say that the Imagineers have already kind of got the ball rolling on this. So what does that mean? Like, how long have they been working on designing this thing? Have they been working on it for over a year now? Because Josh D'Amaro has hinted that this project has been talked about and thought about for many, many years. But what does that mean? Does that mean like they just kind of had the idea, some people have approached them and they're like, we're not ready yet? Or have they actually been designing something and thinking about it and just getting ready to pull the trigger and announce that they're actually doing it? So if that's the case, and a lot of that design work is already done, and they did mention that it would be the most like innovative Disney park yet. So maybe they've already dreamed up a lot of these things and they have a lot of that work done. So could they get shovels in the ground this year and actually start building the thing and then have it done in the 5 years to get it open by 2030? And do things go a little bit quicker in that part of the world to build than they do here? A lot of questions yet to answer. So it seems ambitious to me to open it by 2030. But again, I'm just not familiar with exactly how long things take to build over there compared to how long they take to build here in the United States. So the next question a lot of people had is why? Why are they choosing to build this in Abu Dhabi? And they did mention this a little bit in the interview and the earnings calls today too. There's just a lot of money in Abu Dhabi. There are this Miral is funding the entire thing themselves, and they've got a lot of money to spend. And there are people with a lot of money to spend who just would go to theme parks and who have the money to visit a high-end Disney vacation experience. So in that sense, it makes sense for them to have a park in that part of the world. And as I mentioned earlier, this deal has Disney spending basically nothing out of their pocket other than man hours with their Imagineers. And if the park is a success, it becomes a major moneymaker for them. And what's interesting is they didn't reveal all the details of the deal today in the earnings calls or in the press release or in the interview with CNBC. But in the CNBC interview, which again, I will link below, Bob Iger said the closest thing to compare it to is their situation in Japan with the Tokyo parks there. Those are owned by the Oriental Land Company. They own and operate those Disney parks and basically license the Disney IP in those parks. And I'm sure the Imagineers work with them very closely too to make sure those attractions are up to Disney standards, the operations are up to Disney standards. And I will tell you that everybody I know has been to one of those Disney parks in Japan tells me you have to go to them. They're some of the best theme parks in the world. So this can be done really well. If you have people on the ground and a company on the ground who is invested in it, is spending the money, and is running the operations of a park well, it can be done really well, and it makes sense from a business point of view because you're not spending a lot of money, and then you're raking in cash that you can ideally spend on other projects and other things throughout your company. Also, Disney said today that 120 million passengers come through both Abu Dhabi and Dubai every year. So that's quite an amount of people kind of flying in, stopping in, spending a few tourism days before they're off to their next destination. You would imagine if people stopped there and wanted to go to a theme park, maybe they would choose to go to the Disney theme park over some of the other ones. And finally, the last question I have is for all of you. How are you feeling about this today? How are you feeling about the Walt Disney Company having a theme park in the Middle East, in the UAE, in Abu Dhabi? I've seen a lot of discussion about this today. People kind of wondering about whether or not this fits the values of the company. We're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing Warner Brothers has a theme park there. Six Flags is building a park in Qiddiya in Saudi Arabia right now. So you wonder if more of these Western companies come in and they build these theme parks and these attractions. Does that lead to more progressive values being implemented in some of these countries? But I'm just seeing a lot of hesitation from people who are saying, I don't know if I feel comfortable traveling to some of these countries or not. People in the LGBTQ community saying, am I welcome going to some of these parks or not? Would I feel comfortable being at a park in some of these countries? So I'm just curious to know how y'all are feeling about that. And are you wrestling with that? What your thoughts are. Just based on what I'm seeing on social media, they're getting a lot of feedback and a lot of really direct feedback from people about some of these issues. So please leave your comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on those things. Please subscribe as well. You can follow me everywhere on social media. I'm at Marcus Leshock pretty much on every platform that you can think of. I appreciate you all watching this video. Again, it's just huge news this morning. It was very unexpected. Wasn't prepared to do this today, thinking that there was going to be some major announcement maybe. So that's how these things go sometimes. So we'll see as this goes along when and how this is all going to happen. So we'll keep you posted as best as we can, best as I can, and look forward to talking with y'all. Peace out.